fresh meat.
During the Halloween season, we are used to images of children going to strangers' homes, begging for food and treats. A common twist to the story, one that makes it a cautionary tale, is that this stranger may just want to eat them. So many of the scary stories we tell involve cannibalism. And strangely, that often comes in the form of eating not just anyone, but innocent children.
You're supposed to say 3.
This is one of 3 episodes in which I use Tales from the Darkside to illustrate an idea. In this case, we have the wraparound story.
I always go to a lot of trouble for a dinner party.
The tale of a boy who is being held captive by a woman.
Look at this floor. I thought you loved chocolate chip cookies. And what happened to that book I gave you?
This boy is biding his time before she cooks him up and eats him.
What are you doing?
Just preheating to 350.
Help! Help! There's a crazy woman in there! She's gonna cook me! She's gonna eat me! Help!
So he tells her stories from her favorite book of scary stories. In this story, we have common tropes, such as enticing the child with treats, and we see evidence that he is smart and cunning, something that is bound to factor into the story later.
Maybe I should get started now.
No, wait. There's plenty of time. You said this was your favorite book. Don't you want to hear a story?
Some of the most famous tales from the Grimm's brothers involve a creature or a woman, someone other than their mother, eating a child whole. This witch and the traditional wicked stepmother are in many ways synonymous with each other. It's one of the most common tropes in children's literature, an other mother who tempts a child, lures them in, and ultimately wants only to cause them harm. Eating children in these stories can be considered the same as taking their life force, taking their youth. It isn't easy growing old and seeing children come into the picture with their young bodies and youthful spirits, the many years they can look forward to. We see this idea play out in a favorite around Halloween season, Hocus Pocus.
Winnie. Sisters, prepare thyselves. 'Tis her life force. The potion works. Take my hands. We will share her. Oh, Winnie, how generous of thee.
Beautiful. Boys will love me.
We're young. Well, younger.
While Hansel and Gretel involves a witch-like character, Red Riding Hood insinuates that there is a monster underneath a familiar woman that children know. That is, the grandmother, and it all relates. Underneath every grandmother, there is a jealous monster who can't stand that she will die soon. So eating her grandchild is like an inner villain, a wolf, wanting desperately to suck the youth from the child she sees in front of her. If you like this video, check out Scary Stories, available now on streaming and DVD. Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth has a unique take on the wicked step-parent. In this case, it is a stepfather, Captain Vidal. He too is quite interested in the passing of time and living forever, and in this case, it is the traditional means of raising his own son to carry on his name. That is how he will carry on, cheat death. Ophelia in the film is only getting in his way. She is not part of his plan. The Pale Man in the film appears, and he is truly the child eater, but also a stand-in for Captain Vidal. The Pale Man is there to tempt children with a lavish feast. The Pale Man is influenced by the Tonome, a ghost of Japanese lore. The eyes on his hands may symbolize that he only has eyes for what he can take, what he can grab. Del Toro has alluded to the idea that the creature is a statement about Catholic dogma. I choose to place it next to another famous riff on eating children, and that is Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, a satirical essay dating back to 1729. The pale man is the rich sitting cozy in their homes. The poor are often transfixed on the feast that they may someday have, but it is all an illusion. According to Swift, the rich want the poor to sell their children so that the rich may dine on them. Eating children is about class and wealth. In Pan's Labyrinth, the rich are only interested in continuing this class system on Earth, continuing to eat the poor, take advantage of them. While the poor, Ophelia, ideally should want something more spiritual, enlightened, a transcendent everlasting life better than anything Captain Vidal or the child-eating pale man seek. Ophelia, through a moral code, escapes the illusions that the rich create and transcends to a better place.
Padre.
Habéis derramado vuestra sangre antes que la de un inocente. Esa era la última prueba, la más importante.
There is perhaps no modern boogeyman that has become synonymous with the consuming of childhood innocence as much as Freddy Krueger. Wes Craven knew that, so when he returned to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise in 1994, he chose to use one of the most primal and traditional tales to emphasize this fact. The boiler room imagery lends itself perfectly to the story.
As soon as the sun was up, the witch made Gretel fetch the wood and kindle a fire. "We will bake cookies first," she said. "I've heated the oven and kneaded the dough. Crawl in and see if the fire is blazing high enough now." And she pushed Gretel toward the oven. The witch meant to shut the door and bake her when she was inside. Dylan, this is so violent. I don't know why you like these stupid old fairy tales.
Finish, please.
Freddy shares a number of attributes with what is usually considered a witch or creature tricking children in order to eat them.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul, too.
He uses dreams as candy, as his own gingerbread house. Sometimes he is coaxing teenagers with sex or with some deep, dark desire.
Don't talk with your mouth full, dear.
He often gives them what they want, only with some sordid irony. Unlike Hansel and Gretel, he ultimately wants to gobble up their life force in some way. New Nightmare uses this analogy and takes it to its logical conclusion. Freddy Krueger is connected to other foundational storytelling monsters. He feeds on innocence, on children. He lures them into his world. And to defeat him, one must be cunning and smart. As we see in Tales from the Darkside, the villain who seeks to eat innocent children is a potent image that is deep in our collective culture.
I saved the really best story for now.
Well, you should have told me the really best story before, because now it's too late.
What hopefully happens in the end is that children, the new generation, is smart enough to get themselves out of this horrific dilemma.
All shiny and slippery. And when he threw them on the floor, she didn't see where they went, and she slipped. Whoa! Oh! Timmy saw his chance to escape, If he could just reach the keys. I just love happy endings.
If you haven't already, please check out Scary Stories, now available on streaming and DVD. Thanks for listening to this episode of Scary Studies, the series that examines the stories, movies, and myths of what we find scary. All done with the ultimate message. Horror is fascinating.